friends, Romans countrymen. It is Wednesday afternoon. We have a lot of catching up to do because I haven't vlogged in the past couple of days, so no Monday or Tuesday this week. We're hitting the ground running on Wednesday. I just didn't have it in me. I was working, I was loving, and I just didn't want to. So, happy Wednesday. Ethan and I just got back from a little lunch date actually, to this place called Red Maple. It was a fun trip because the people around us were acting a fool. Characters welcome really in Toluca Lake today. First of all, the woman who was in my sight line diagonally across from me was not wearing underwear and she was wearing a very short dress. And so I got full frontal exposure to that. And so I was kind of getting stressed out. Like Ethan was talking to me and I was like, hey, so I'm only half listening because I'm distracted by this situation over here of this woman not wearing underwear and just like proudly letting everything hang out. And maybe that was a choice. Ethan said, oh, maybe she's an exhibitionist. And I was like, oh, I didn't consider that. But I was just feeling secondhand embarrassment for her and the kind of chaotic energy and choices of all that. And so I couldn't really focus on the meal until after she left. But that was one thing that was happening. Then behind me within Ethan's sightline, we had an episode of Portlandia playing out because this woman ordering was making it the most difficult thing in the world. She had to have a substitution for everything. She had to have no this, no that. She was like, can I have decaf iced coffee? And they were like, oh, we don't have decaf. We only have decaf Americano. And she was like, well, that won't do. And so then, I don't know, she got something else. And then she was like, I want potatoes, but no onions, no garlic, no like anything on them. And they were like, okay. And then she's like, I want a gluten-free waffle. And they were like, we don't have gluten-free waffles. And so it was really like, if you've ever seen the Portlandia sketch, where it's like around the world in 80 plates, it was giving that. Like she and the waiter were having such a long dialogue about this menu that I felt like I had the thing memorized after she was done. And I was asking Ethan, I was like, do we think this is an allergy thing or an eating disorder thing? And he was like, you know, probably both. And I was like, totally. At one point, the waiter goes, yeah, you know, with all of these specifications that you've given me, I'm going to go back into the kitchen and I'm going to become in hot with Jim, our cook. And I'm going to make sure that he really hooks it up. And Ethan just goes, Jim's going to want to shoot himself. It was just so LA. Like she could not have made this process more difficult, but we still had a fun time. It was a nice little lunch date. I also wanted to give you a little book update. I just finished a book that was deeply mid called Heartwood, and I cannot find anything else that I want to read. I started The Nightingale by, what's that woman's name who writes all those bestsellers that are also deeply mid? Hold on. She wrote Firefly Lane. What is her name? I'm going to insert it here. Anyway, started that book. It was about World War II and it was like very graphic and I like couldn't handle it. And I was like, no, that's stressing me out. So I told Shakespeare guy, hey, I need some books. And he was like, I got you. So we pulled from his bookshelves. So let's see what he gave me. No one will be surprised by the first book. This is Shakespeare, How to Read the World's Greatest Playwright by Emma Smith. So I think he's giving this to me because I let it slip that I've never read any of the Henrys. Ooh, my upper lip is sweating. It's very warm in here. It's like 95 degrees outside. So I haven't read any of the Henrys and he was a little scandalized by that. So I've been assigned some homework. So that's the first book in my haul. Next one is called News of the World. I think they turned this into a Tom Hanks movie. Oh, it's by a woman. That's good. I don't really like reading books by men, as I've told you guys. I just can't really relate to... Ooh, she looks like she's not playing. I just can't really relate to men's writing. It's just hard for me. I just don't really understand how their minds work, and I don't really care to. Agatha Christie. I have also never read any of her books, so that should be interesting. Oh, it's short stories. Oh, with that detective guy, Poirot. All right, well, I'm interested to read this. We'll see how we go with that. And then the last one is called The Lost Books of the Odyssey. And I think that this is kind of taking some creative license with the story of the Odyssey and like adding in some tales in between. And I mentioned that I liked the book, The Song of Achilles, and he was like, oh, well, I hated that book, and you have to read this book that's like better about Greek mythology. And I was like, oh, okay, T. Because like, I liked but didn't love Song of Achilles. I know that that author, Madeline What's-Her-Face, is like so popular, but I don't know. Circe took me like a month to get through. I found it kind of boring, and Song of Achilles was kind of like meh for me. So I'm curious to read this. Oh no, it's by a man. And see if that's better. Only one book by a man. I can do that, and it's small, look. So anyway, that's the reading list. I think I'll start with this, get the man out of the way, and we'll see how we go. You guys, I'm having one of those days where I feel a little too fragile for life because I just feel sensitive today. Like, I just feel like everything that my clients are telling me, I'm like feeling more deeply than usual. Like the membrane that protects me from like hearing a lot of traumatic things, and Petey's leaving the scene. He's like, I can't deal. Is too thin, and everything's just like getting in emotionally, and I just feel like a little fragile. And then I went and worked at a coffee shop today, and I saw, when I was walking back to my car, I saw this man like yelling at a woman. I think they were like dating, but he was like screaming at her, and he like threw a duffel bag at her, and there was a dog in the car, and he was barking, and he seemed like scared and overstimulated, and I can't stop thinking about it, and I'm just feeling like there's a lot of pain and suffering in the world, and I just hate when bad things happen to people, but also when I like feel like I'm too exposed and open-hearted to be able to like just not let that get me down for the rest of the day. So I just like kind of can't get that out of my head, and I just feel really overwhelmed by it and really overwhelmed by life today. I'm just taking everything really sensitively. And then I like logically know, I'm like, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. But I just really feel sensitive to what everyone's saying and doing. I also think I'm hungry because I haven't eaten dinner yet. But Ethan's almost done making dinner. So hopefully after a hearty meal, I will feel restored. But yeah, I just feel like a little jellyfish exposed to the elements of other people's trauma. Oh, I did want to say, so last night I hung out with Shakespeare Guy, and we ended up watching this show called The Hollow Crown, which is basically like TV episodes of different Shakespeare plays by a bunch of British actors. Like Tom Hiddleston's in it, and Jeremy Irons is in it, Daddy, and just like a lot of British actors. Oh, Ben Whishaw is in some of them, and so it was good, but I was just like really proud of myself because I don't know shit about any of like the Henry plays or the Richards or anything like that. That's not in my knowledge base of Shakespeare. And so we watched Henry IV Part 1. And let me tell you guys, I was following the plot. I was right along with them, even though I don't know anything about those plays. And I was just pretty proud of myself because I was like, okay, Shakespeare scholar, must be hanging around with Shakespeare Guy so much. I'm just I feel like I could pick up what was being put down. And I felt very intellectual. And I was like, oh, yes, I understand the plot. And, you know, I understood some of, like, the jokes and the plays on words and the, like, turns of phrases. So, because when we started watching, I was like, oh, my God, am I going to understand anything that's going on? Like, I haven't dove into Shakespeare in a while. But I totally did. And I was like, okay, smart. But let's just say I was concentrating for dear life, okay? I'm a wet butt. Oh, I'm sure. Are you a dusty, dirty boy? It is Friday after a long work day. Not gonna lie, pretty tired. Hair is still drying. I finished work and then worked out, took a shower, took a little nap, and now I'm going out to dinner with the girls. I almost canceled, but I was like, no, it will be good to see my girls. And yeah, I just had a nice rest, so hopefully that should do me. But I wanted to show you a little fit check. So I'm wearing the dress that you might recognize from Portugal. This is an old navy dress. I will say, can you see on camera, there's like some fuzz on it. Okay, you can't see, that's good. There's some fuzz because I washed it. I think it's a pretty cheap material, unfortunately. I think perhaps it should not have gone in the dryer, but that's okay. You live and you learn. And I got this dress with a gift card, so I spent no money on it. And so even if it doesn't last me, can you see? Even if it doesn't last me a very long time, that's all right. How was today? Today was fine. I was just very tired, and I felt bad. The last session of the day, I was like, whoa, I'm exhausted, and it was kind of a struggle to get through. But it happens. I'm excited for the weekend. Tomorrow I'm seeing Catherine, and then Shakespeare Guy and I are doing a Swimply because after one Swimply he couldn't get enough. So we're gonna go back to one of my favorite Swimplys, but I'll show you all that tomorrow. So yeah, let's get ready to go. I'll show you the shoes for tonight. The Birks. Oh, these are fake Birkenstocks I got on Amazon. And they're one size too small, but that's all right. We're going to Hippo tonight, which is like a cutesy little restaurant in Highland Park, which I think has good pasta. And you know me, I'm about to get my Aperol Spritz on. So yeah, nice way to spend a Friday night. And I will check in with you all soon.
I don't care about that. Okay. I've just never had the prosciutto part. Yeah, no, prosciutto sounds good. Yeah. Cheers! Cheers! Thank you. Thank you.
Can I see your meals?
Yes. Gorgeous.
Georgine. Good morning and happy Saturday. I am so freaking glad it's the weekend. I don't think I've ever been so glad it's the weekend in my life. The end of this week just wore me out. As I told you all last night, I was exhausted, but I'm really glad I went and saw the girls because we had a whale of a time. We had a nice dinner, nice pasta. Oh, hello. We had a lovely pasta meal and a really good gab sesh, and I had my little Aperol Spritz, and it was just a lovely evening had by all. And I got home by like 10, and Ethan and I had a little giggle before bed. And yeah, the only problem was that Ethan's stupid diabetes Dexcom was going off like crazy this morning, which woke Petey up, and then Petey was like, I'm ready to go. So I meant to sleep till 9, but I slept till like 8. So yeah, that was a bummer. I was really wanting to sleep in, but the boys were not allowing that. But I had a nice slow morning just reading my book. I'm reading, actually, I started one of the Shakespeare Guy books and I got bored. So I'm reading a book called Bat Eater, or the Various Names of Cora Zhang. Let me double check on that, folks. I think it's a new book. Okay, will you show me the title? I'm not really sure why this is so hard. Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang. Really good. Caroline told me about it and said I would love it, and it's really right up my alley, though it is really gory, I'll tell you that. So not for the faint of heart, but really enjoying it. Oh yeah, I was listening to the new Jonas Brothers album on the way here. Little known fact about me, I'm like a low-key Jonas Brothers fan. Like, I liked them when I was younger, but obviously I was always Team Taylor Swift in the breakup, so I never got as into them as like other people were. I wasn't like a fangirl, but as an adult I really like their music, and especially the music they've made as they've gotten older. Like their last 3 albums I've really loved, and so they just came out with a new album and I was like, Well, here we go. And it's really fun. It's really poppy as usual. I'm enjoying it. And I just really think that like all the music they're making as adults is really impressive to me. It's just fun. They just know it works and they do it again and again. And it always puts me in a good mood. So I just parked at Commissary and I'm going to have coffee with Catherine because I had to cancel on her last week post Gaga because I was too tired. And yeah, so I haven't seen her in a while. It'll be really good to have a catch up. And I've been craving a little Commissary cold brew. So let's get this going. Phone eats first, as they say. I'm back. They can't keep me away. I know the Swimply hates to see me coming because I'm a regular customer. Good afternoon, friends. Sorry, my coffee machine is so loud in the background, but it is Sunday afternoon and I am having a little afternoon snack and coffee in preparation for this afternoon. Caroline and I are going to a queer meditation event. So random, so not the kind of thing I usually do, but you know what? I'm doing it for the plot and I want to hang out with my girl Caroline, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come with you, why not? If anything, it'll be a good story. So I'm just making my iced coffee now. Yesterday, the Swimply was so much fun. We had a great time. I love that Swimply. I think that was my fourth time. Was that my fourth time at that Swimply? That's a little crazy. I'm a crazy girl for that. But yeah, Shakespeare guy liked it. And we had our Jersey Mikes. And it was just a really good time had by all. And then we watched some Gilmore Girls. We are on season 4 right now. But he keeps trying to watch ahead of me. I've got certain episodes that I want us to watch together. And he watched 3 episodes this morning, you guys. And now he has to wait until I see him the next time, probably later this week, to keep watching because our next episode comes up. But I'm like, I get it. The addiction is real. Once you start, you can't stop. And then this morning has been kind of just like going around the house, cleaning, vibing type morning. I cleaned the bathroom, took everything out of me. And I was just cuddling with Petey, reading my book. Ethan's running some errands. And then I think Caroline's gonna come over for dinner and Ethan's gonna cook us up a nice meal. So you're all caught up, but let me see if I can bring you along to this meditation event and show you the vibes. We'll see if that's possible. But yeah, nice Sunday so far. Well, folks, back from the meditation class. We had a nice dinner. Ethan made a lovely salmon. And yeah, we had a nice little catch up with Caroline, the meditation class. Caroline and I were joking. We're like, you know, it's not often that we go to a place with a bunch of strangers and just like sit around with some fucking weirdos, but today was one of those days. It kind of reminded me of when I was in grad school, just like taking a class with some absolute characters. Odd people in this class. The meditation part was really cool. There was also like a read aloud part and like a discussion part. The weirdness came out in the discussion part for sure. People were saying some like very odd things. There was one woman we had to wear name tags. Her name tag said Guess. So Caroline and I both just kind of assumed her name was Guess. I thought maybe like, you know, he, she, they were non-binary and went by Guess. And I just took that in stride. But then this woman was like, guess my name. Like, I'm not going to tell any of you my name when we were going around introducing ourselves. And I was like, oh. And she was like, so you can come talk to me after and, like, tell me what you think my name is. And then her friend came a few minutes later, and everyone was like, do you know her name? And Guess was like, don't tell them. Just weird. I mean, people are weird, you know, and it was a good reminder of that. But sweet, but weird. But I liked the instructor. He was like a nice, very gentle gay man. Liked his vibes. Just good energy. And yeah, I was like, I'd go again. Just, you know, for a nice little meditation on a Sunday afternoon and just meet some fucking weirdos. Like, I'm down. You know me, characters welcome. I'm always there for a good story. And afterwards, they were chatting with me, and because I'd mentioned I was a therapist, kind of asking me about what I did. And so that was just fun to catch up with some new people, meet some strangers, go out and see the world. Anyway, I think I'm going to close the vlog here. It's been a really fun weekend. Monday morning, back to work. So I will talk to you in the new week. But yeah, as always, like, subscribe, comment, you know the drill. And I will see you in the next one.